All right. Good evening. Mm. Alrighty, let's get to it. Today was a bit of a mess, but still profitable. This is what we did right here. So we go ahead and opened, and if I'm being as straightforward as possible, I was bearish. If you look on the daily right over here, we recently made a lower low without making a higher high, and we went up without breaking this old high, and now we're going down, filling this wick, moving up. You can see how I think that's bearish. We go to the 4 hour, also seems pretty bearish before today. Don't look at today. There were no previous highs taken out. There were swing highs taken out, so it's like this really nice like situation where everything seemed to be working out real nice. Then we go down to the 1 hour, and the 1 hour has like swing highs down here taken out, but I was like, nah, it's whatever. I'm still bearish. So what I was aiming for was I still have it. Yeah, there's this daily fair value gap and then this daily liquidity void. You come down to the 4 hour, and this seems pretty reasonable to me that we'd move up into this daily fair value gap and then move down. But what I was realizing as we opened, it was pretty slow. And if I had to guess, that's because of FOMC this evening, or not this evening. What am I saying? Good. That is just embarrassing. um Later this week on Wednesday. So if I had to guess, that's what we're looking at. And that's why it was kind of meh today. So we go into the 1 minute, we can go and look at open. Why is this entire thing? Is this the new day opening gap? Good God, that is disgusting. That thing is huge. I mean, this whole region has just been created gray from this new day opening gap and last week's weekly opening gap, and that's just horrendous. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of weekly gaps just so that we can see something on the screen. That is a huge new day opening gap. Good Lord. All right, so one thing that I was noticing is, and I was looking at ICT's posts on X because I was sitting in bed and I had a free period this morning. So I didn't have class, which is super chill. Um, we were kind of making this really sweet, you know, back and forth. It's like trend trading. People that do, I don't really know how it works, but when I imagine trend trading, this is what I imagine. Um, and so I took one trade in here that I think was profitable somewhere in here, and then I took one that I got stopped out. I lost like 30 bucks. I was using one micro. And then yeah, so that was kind of stupid. I mean, I shouldn't have really been trading realistically, but I was kind of just messing with price action. And then I saw that we had just left the macro and we broke market structure to the downside. And I took that as like a really good sign. Typically when I see that, like especially this kind of setup, I'm like, dude, there's nothing else that's coming except for a reversal. And I've been bearish all day, so I was like, I don't really know what we swept. I wonder what it was. If you go to the 1 hour, the highest wick right over here, this high wick right here that created this swing high in the 1 hour, which also created this daily fair value gap. If you take your fib and you put it out over that entire wick, you will see that we almost came up. I mean, we were close. I don't think we actually hit it, but yeah, we were close. We were right here. We come pretty close to that consequent encroachment, which makes sense why we then hit that market structure shift. So the ideal trade realistically would have been this bearish fair value gap. And keep in mind, we're in the kill zone. This gray bar right from here to here is 10 to 11. This is technically 11, but it cuts off a minute short. That's just how the indicator works. If you guys want to know how I built this indicator, I have a video on it. I think it's called Building an ICT Silver Bullet Indicator in Pine Script or something like that. But this would have been the ideal entry right here. We enter into the first presented fair value gap, which ends up being turned into an inverse, but we closed below the CE, move back up into this fair value gap while still closing below the CE, and we respect the CE this whole time. And then if we didn't get that entry, the ideal entry after that is this bearish order block right here that we enter into. And then if you don't get that, the next best entry is this bearish order block right here or this bearish for value up, which is what I got. It was a really sad entry, honestly. But this was our sell side liquidity. I think as we were up here somewhere, ICT was like, hey guys, I'm looking at this level right down here, this 24,614 and a half, and I was aiming for this sell side liquidity, not this one. So I was like, all right, so at least my bias is in the right direction, at least according to ICT. So I don't trade off of ICT signals or ICT notifications by any means, but it was, it was boosting um to my trade analysis. But what you can see now is even better. This stuff just makes me laugh. It was a little embarrassing. It turned into a little bit of retail. Let's go over the trade that happened up here. Yeah, I had this trade in here where I entered right there and I closed right there. It was like I made like $1. Here, hold up. Yeah, I made $1. That was the first trade of today. I made $1, and the reason I didn't make any money was that I entered right here, probably off of the entry into this order block, and then it went down. I probably had my stops, I think, right below this low, and then we went up, and I was aiming for this buy side liquidity, just a short little run. And and as we're moving up, I'm like, all right, we're about to hit it. I'll just start dragging my stop loss up. And as I did that, I put my stop loss like at the constant encroachment of this wick, which got blown through to fill in this wick before we went up and took out that buy side liquidity. It was just dumb. It was dumb. I shouldn't have done it. It was stupid. But I was aiming for this daily fair value gap, so I entered long again right here, ended up getting stopped out down here for a loss of like 26, yeah, 26 and a half dollars. That's all with a micro. And then I didn't get any of these entries in here, even though they were super straightforward. I was looking at this one, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. And then I missed this one while thinking about how I missed this one. And then I ended up entering on these down here. My thought process was, I'll tell you why this got stopped out there, but for the moment was I entered here after we get to the consequent encroachment of this left wick, and then I enter here once we get to the consequent encroachment of this wick. And I'm kind of waiting because I'm like, I'm not going to do that again. And then we get up to the consequent encroachment of this bearish fair value gap, and I enter again. And then right here, we come up to this order block, so I enter again. And I was just accumulating. I was pyramiding a larger position where like over the last like day or two of trading, I've been trading with one micro just to like, I don't know, it's something ICT was talking about doing where like if you can build something, if you can build an account with one micro and you're comfortable with that, and you don't like get like all emotional over it, then there's no reason you can't start building with more micros. And so I was like, all right, I might as well try it. Um, but I had a position open, and what I did is I dragged the stop loss like somewhere in here, and I dragged the take profit down here. But then when I did that, there was still a take profit and stop loss little situation here. So I was like, I wonder what that does. And I dragged it and it immediately stopped me out of one of my contracts. So that's why that happened right there. Don't really know why that happened. I made like 20 bucks off that. And then another thing that was really upsetting was I set at that point in time, at this point in time, because this got stopped out for some stupid reason, I now have a position size of 3 micros open. Now, that's not bad or anything, but what's interesting is I was like, well, ICT thinks its price is going to go down here, and I think that's pretty reasonable. But this is what I was aiming for, so I'm going to go ahead and set a limit for 1 micro right here, and then I'll set just the other take profit right here. So then, of course, me being on TradingView for demo, I'm like watching price, and price goes down and takes this out, and I go ahead and I make what is that? 66 bucks on 1 micro. So then I would have made like 80 or 90 per contract for this take profit, right? No, the two get stopped out all the way up here because it wicks through this. I don't get closed and I'm like waiting. And so I put my stop loss like yeah, I put my stop loss at the top of this candle, and I'm like, there's no way we're reversing right now. And I didn't just get stopped out. Like, I was like screen recording in my room. I didn't screen record the whole thing. I was just like trying it out, like while I was waiting for this position to close. And I ended up not screen recording. I was actually recording audio. And I just had this clip of me like yelling in my room. Like, I was like, there's no fucking way that just happened. Anyways, it's a pain in the ass. It's what demo does. really annoying. And maybe the spread was just too ridiculous and I just messed it up. Maybe that's what it was. Whatever. It was annoying is what it was. It was very frustrating. So I was not happy about that. I was very angry. But yeah, we ended up making um like this is minus this like negative 25 bucks. So we ended up making like 60 bucks, maybe a little bit more on the day, which is above ICT's target of one micro of 50 bucks a day. So I don't really have much to complain about. I shouldn't really be complaining, but I'm annoyed, honestly, that that happened. But um I do suspect that price could be um a little stagnant, you could say, until until Wednesday. We just with war news and um and that FOMC meeting on Wednesday is going to be a big deal because yeah, so tomorrow we have pending home sales and then Wednesday, yeah, we have FOMC economic projections, FOMC statements, the FOMC press conference. There's also core PPI month over month and PPI month over month in the morning. So we may trade that day during the New York AM kill zone, and then I'll think about the PM kill zone if I'm not busy during that time. That's on a Wednesday. No, no, I think I may only have the mornings. Yeah, no, I won't be available in the afternoon, so we'll see if it's all right for Wednesday. Otherwise, for tomorrow, I'm at the moment I'm thinking I'm gonna trade, but I am not gonna be looking for huge moves because I do think we are gonna be a little stagnant for the day. um personal analysis, but that's kind of just what I'm thinking. I just think FOMC in March, this March FOMC in what in 2 days is going to be pretty big and significant given um the war we're in with Iran and the economic pinch that's putting the US in. The stress on the US dollar, the fluctuations in inflation, possibly, who knows? I'm not going to say anything off the bat. But I will review with us all on after that happens and we can talk about it. But until then, that's about it. I do have a video that I took last night of me back testing. I was just very upset after I lost again. Um, One thing that I guess I can go over with you guys, that's the wrong one. I don't want to show you all of my emails that I have. I guess these don't really matter. These are actually chill. We're chilling. Um, yes, this is what I want to show you guys. This was I'll go ahead and upload the video I made, but as you may be able to tell, I lost more money, which was really sad. So, but one thing that I realized was that I'm not super familiar with this at the moment, but I bought right here and then I sold right here. I got stopped out or something like that. I think that's what happened. Yeah, I definitely didn't sell it there. I bought right here because I wanted to see it return to this because I thought we were bearish, I'm sure, something like that. And then I got stopped out. But had I looked at this a little differently, I could have. I'm trying to see what I missed here. There was something that I missed. I remember because I got very upset about it yesterday. No, I got like very angry. I was very upset. Anyways, I'll go ahead and upload that for you guys. I was just very upset with my back testing that happened. I thought that I did really poorly and I was very not pleased with how I did. So I was not happy about that. So I'll go ahead and upload it now that I'm less emotional about the loss. Because I want to be honest with you guys and show you guys my input on, or at least my input for how I did. But yeah, I'm sure there was something to this. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you all had a good day trading, and I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one.